It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to the KN Cast. This is the only podcast about Kid Nation where I ask my best friend Jake Scheidel if he watched a certain show last night. Jake, how are you doing? Oh, I'm Tom Powell, by the way. I'm going to get this down from memory at one point.
The last episode of the KN Cast, you're finally going to get it down.
Yep.
Were you reading those off notes?
No.
Oh, and then you forgot something.
Yeah, there was a minute there, like, where going into it, I was like, oh shit. I haven't done this in a couple weeks. We'll see how it goes. And then I was like, great. I'm nailing it. And then I realized, like, oh, I forgot the one thing that I always forget, which is to say who I am.
You know, Thomas, it's not about you, though. You know, people think it's all about me, it's all about me. No, it's all about the kids. The kids are the future.
It's all about the kids.
When it comes to the children, the KN Cast is for the children. And it really is. It's the kids. It's the kids in America, as we like to say.
I think that this show is what MGMT were talking about when they made the show Kids.
They made the show, yeah.
God damn.
Little known Hollywood fact, the guys from the band formerly known as The Management created Kid Nation, and they said, this was a failure, we should do something else, but still kid-themed.
Jake, I've got a question for you.
Okay, please.
What shirt are you wearing? What's on your shirt?
I'm wearing a gray tank top right now. Why are you asking me this?
I don't know. I was just thinking about what shirt I was wearing, and I thought it would be a fun misdirection to make it look like I was going to ask you the question that we always ask. But
okay, I have a question for you then. What shirt are you wearing? What?
I'm wearing a white shirt with red lettering and art on it. It is a band t-shirt for the artist Vagabond.
Okay.
Who I saw open for Waxahachie a few years ago. And I hadn't heard of her before, and I thought her set was really good, and they had cool t-shirts, so I bought one. And this was at the Pyramid Scheme in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then she's been relatively successful since then. So
yeah, I like Waxahachie. Yeah.
Well, I was saying Vagabond, but also Waxahachie has also been successful.
Yeah, I don't know Vagabond as much, but I know
pretty
Waxahachie's good. Good to know.
Anyway, it's a cool shirt too. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I'm not some stupid gray tank top.
Okay, well.
Also, Jake, I don't know. Did you watch Kid Nation?
Friday night and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's soothing, heading down.
Yeah, Thomas, I did watch Kid Nation last night. You didn't even want to hear my story about this tank top, but whatever. Okay. Yeah. It's a good tank top, that's all. That's the whole story. This episode was called Viva la Revolución. Here's my hot take on this title. Maybe you'll agree with me, because I think I'm right. This was a bad episode title. Do you know why?
I agree.
Why do you say this was a bad episode title? I'm wondering if it's the same reason as I do.
I think, didn't he just say Viva? I don't think he said La, he just said Viva Revolution,
He said Viva Revolution, and the episode title was Viva la Revolución, which is Spanish for Viva Revolution.
I believe it is Long Live the Revolution.
This episode first aired on October 17th, 2007. So that's like almost exactly 13 years ago. What year is it? 2020 still?
It's still 2020.
It's October 11th. Yeah, so almost exactly 13 years ago. How old would you have been exactly 13 years ago, Thomas?
Exactly 13 years ago, Jake, I would have been 16 years old.
Would have been about 16 and a half years old. Last week's episode had 7.01 million viewers. And you'll notice I did go 2 decimal points on that because I have to ask you, how many viewers do you think this one received?
Jake, I'm really hoping it's 6.9 million.
Buddy, aren't we all? It was, in fact, 7.41 million.
Really?
400,000
so they gained
people
viewers.
Tuned in after their Bad Religion episode.
I'm shocked.
Me too.
When they had the punk band Bad Religion on there, it was cool.
Would be cool.
People were like, I heard them on the Tony Hawk 2 soundtrack.
In town, Zach tries to get the Yellow District to help him work, but they all yell at him because that's what the Yellow District does. Apparently, nobody in the Blue District likes Anjay.
I was surprised by this.
I thought everybody liked Anjay.
Yeah, it seemed like he was doing a good job. I think it's more that just like 2 people were like, he's not doing a good job as a leader, because as we find out later in the episode, everybody else seems perfectly content to have Anjay be in charge.
Yeah, seems like he's doing a fine job.
He's doing a perfectly fine job. He's just trying to get him to wake up. I know nobody wants to wake up. I'd probably be mad about it, but, like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Do you know Anjay actually wrote Wake Up by the Arcade Fire about Kid Nation?
Crazy. He wrote it before going on Kid Nation. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he does know. He's very good at spelling, because he was in that spelling bee, as they said. So.
Yeah. The town council reads the journal and it tells them to hold an election. So this is what we've been calling for since it started.
Finally we get an election.
Yeah. There was a scene where everybody threw food at Anjay. I don't know what the impetus of that was. And
Somebody
it made me
yelled
upset.
food fight. They were doing a food fight, I believe.
Who cares? Stop throwing food at people. You know you don't have a lot, just eat it. Whatever.
This is also, like, I guess this would happen a lot in a society run by children, but, like, not even the first. Like, you guys already did the food fight where you were throwing the flour on each other.
Well, I mean,
Jake didn't like that either, so cut it out.
Thomas, you do have to remember, these kids, they do live in a society, so
That's true.
you can't pass judgment on that.
Well, they're choosing whether or not they want to live in a society. That's kind of what the show is about.
Do you think living in a society is funny? Because I do, and I'm tired of thinking it's not.
Yeah, I think Taylor does not want to live in a society.
What to do about Taylor? What's that song from Sound of Music? What to do with Maria or whatever? You know the one I'm talking about.
Jake, I am familiar with a lot of the music from Sound of Music. I have never been forced to watch it.
Oh, it was my mom's favorite movie when we were kids, so we had to watch it all the time, and I grew tired of it very quickly because it's...
I'm sure it's fine, but I can't imagine. Like, I'm just probably never going to watch it. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not necessary.
I don't like musicals that much. That's even from an era where I would be more inclined to watch musicals, because I think, like, 50s and 60s musicals are kind of lame, but I guess they're less try-hard than, like, more modern Broadway musicals where there's just, like...
What in the world could you be talking about? What modern Broadway musical seems very try-hard to you, Thomas?
There's just, like, a desperation to I think everything from, like, 1980 on that was put on Broadway. That's just one man's opinion. If you're into that, that's fine. But
here's my only defense of any musical from post 1980. Little Shop of Horrors is great. I know there's only like 2 songs in it, but it is technically a musical. So
yeah,
that's good.
Little Shop is good. There's probably exceptions. I don't know. I like Cabaret, but that's one of the reasons I like Cabaret is because the musical numbers are all contextualized. It's not just people starting to sing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like The Music Man. I like Singing in the Rain.
I've never seen Singing in the Rain, except for
good.
like the 5
There's
minutes
a lot of
where they
cool
actually
dancing.
I
There's a
love
lot of great
cool
dancing.
Step Up, the series. That's a good dance movie. Magic Mike.
Yeah, it's
same guy.
Step Up to the Streets, the musical. Very good.
What about the Coen Brothers movie that he was also in? There was some dancing in that. That was fun.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about that.
That is the musical number No Dames, which is one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever.
Hail Caesar, that's what it's called. Oof.
Yes, Hail Caesar's great.
Hail Caesar's a great movie.
As I said, there was I tweeted about it because there was a prompt that was like, name an actor who's clearly having a lot of fun in their role, and I was like, Channing Tatum is having a great time that entire movie.
Yeah, I feel like Channing Tatum is always having a good time, whatever project he's working on.
He's having a lot of fun in the 21 Jump Street movies. He's having a lot of fun in the Magic Mike movies. Mm-hmm. He's having a lot of fun in Foxcatcher.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, and he is... I would not say he's having fun doing that movie.
You know who else is not having fun? The people on the town council. In a town meeting, Sophia asks them if they're confident they'll retain their positions of authority. Good question by Sophia. Sophia's kind of the Bernie Sanders of Bonanza City, I think.
In many ways, yes. She's sick of the millionaires and billionaires, like Taylor. Man, I was gonna go somewhere and I didn't, so never mind.
All right. Zach writes a speech in the middle of this town with the help of a friend who I don't think we know their name yet. The Green District decides that they like Laurel, so they're not going to run anyone against her. Green District continues to be the best district.
This was nice. It would totally be the best place to live. Everybody seems like they like each other and they get along just fine. They should be in charge of everyone.
Like, every episode we're like, Sophia should be in charge. Sophia should be in charge. And then Sophia's like, I don't want to be in charge. Laurel's doing a good job. I'm like, yeah,
honestly,
Laurel's great. We love Laurel.
Yeah. Like, honestly, thinking about it, too, because I was like, well, who, if I had to pick what I put in charge, I was like, yeah, probably Sophia, but at the same time, like, everybody else is perfectly content with the way things are going, so, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, that's great. Olivia...
Laurel is doing a good job.
Mm-hmm. Olivia tells Anjay that she's running against him. This subplot, I don't care about the Anjay versus Olivia thing that they've been doing all season. I like
they tried
Anjay
to make
fine.
They tried to make... I think they were trying to really force that, where, like, I think Olivia wanted to run, and they tried to make it look like she had a chance. You know, it was like, oh, maybe there is some discontent with Anjay, but there's not, because he's doing a perfectly decent job.
I'll tell you, they got me. I thought for sure Olivia had this. And I've even looked at the Wikipedia article and know who ends up on the town council, but it's not something I committed to memory. So I was like, maybe Olivia does get up there. I don't know. I feel like Olivia would do a good job. She seems to know what she's talking about, right?
I don't think it would have been that crazy if she'd won, but, like I said, I think the last time that we were talking about the council, it's like, how do you think they're doing? I was like, yeah, Anjay's fine.
Yeah.
Probably who I would have in charge of them.
Yeah. The town gathers, and Mike makes his speech for leader of the Red District, I guess. Then Guylan makes his speech and says that if he's elected, he will make the Red District a democracy, not a dictatorship. That's how you win votes. You just say that, and people are inclined to vote for you. Look at the news. Look at The Walking Dead.
Guylan had to stay positive, because I think that's where his appeal is. And, like, I really do feel like with Mike, there's not any specific thing that anyone is like, yeah, I don't know if I want him in charge for. It's just like... Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I think he's done okay, but there's just something about him where he's trying a little too hard. So, get Guylan in there, you know?
Mike seems to talk about being a leader a lot, and it's like...
Yes! Oh my god, yeah, how did you feel... Jake, do you think that Guylan is more of a follower than a leader?
I mean, that's what Mike told me 800 times, so I have to believe him. Yeah, they had him say
it like 10 times. It's like, there was a point later in the episode where I just yelled, "Stop saying that!" Because it was like the fourth. Annoying. It was like the fourth time.
Like, who are you, Jeff Probst on a Heroes, Hustlers, Heroes season?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. These are kids, but like...
Yeah, but
I just think there's something about Mike that like, and it's not anything actually wrong with him, but like... From, like, a TV perspective, it was like, I don't know. This kid's, he's trying a little too hard. But, you know. Also, he's a child. That is what I always come back to on any of this. It's like, any criticism that we have of these kids, they're still children.
Wait, all of these kids are over 21 now, yeah?
They're all adults now, but they're probably also very different people. But in many ways, still
send them back to Bonanza City. See what they do this time.
I would love to see a reunion show.
Dude, it'd be so good. Same thing. It would be so good. Like, do you think the same people would leave in the same order? And be like, oh, actually,
that'd be really fun. That would be really funny. But yeah, if you basically just did like a the challenge or like real world, it doesn't have to be as like physically intensive as the challenge. Or
yeah, do it for like 2 weeks instead of 40 days. Or whatever.
You have like a more adult, updated version of it. Like, you're telling me a streaming service couldn't do this? You know, like. I feel like there's enough people have remembered this at the same time that, like, you would get enough people watching it. You know, it's not going to come back on CBS, but you could have it come back for, like, Hulu or something.
Or maybe
like that.
CBS All Access. That's where they...
Yeah,
although they don't even have the one season of Kid Nation on All Access, so maybe they wouldn't do that. But you're not going to get in trouble for, like, endangering children, because they're not children.
No, they're adults now. And they can, like... hook up and stuff now.
And that would be hot. That's a weird thing to say. I'd take that back. Guylan makes his speech and says if he's elected, he won't be a dictatorship. I like Guylan a lot. I was surprised to hear
I was happy to see him running.
I was surprised to see when he said that he was homeschooled, because I feel like homeschooled people like have difficulty being social because that's not really part of their upbringing usually. So it was cool that like so many people rallied around him, and it was just like, yeah, all right, sounds good. Also, what is Mike talking about that he's not a leader? Like Guylan saw an opportunity and immediately went for it. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, Mike did make a good point about this, and it was my favorite. I think it was the funniest thing that anyone said in the entire episode, which is when he was appointed as the leader at the beginning and was introduced to Guylan, Guylan called him Sir.
I forgot about that.
So I understand him thinking, like, that guy's not going to run against me.
Guylan's just like a polite dude. Like, I like him. Where were we? Andre makes his speech and admits to screwing up, but says he'll work harder in the future. And then Olivia makes her speech saying that she's always worked hard no matter the job she has, and she will work even harder at this. I think Olivia gave a good speech.
Yeah. I mean, I think they all did pretty well considering they're dumb kids, but but yeah, I do like that my sort of my metric for how I want, like, for how I judge how kids did on this is just like whether they were trying too hard or not, because like
you hate
when Zach was when Zach was rehearsing, I was like, come on, you're like 10, stop it. But also I would have been that kid, so
you absolutely would have been that kid. What kid?
I think it really is just me being like recalling cringe from my childhood and being like, no, don't make my mistakes. But you know what? Zach did a great job. Everybody was on board with it.
Which kid in the Bonanza City do you most relate to as a child? Not currently, but when you were their age. Who would you most align yourself with as friends?
I think if I'm being oh, you're saying like who would I be friends with or who do I see myself in?
Both. Oh.
As far as friends go, I mean, it depends on how old I would be, you know? I think a lot of it has to do with...
be between 8 and 15, you know?
Well, yeah, but I think
age.
that says a lot. Like, I think I would be friends with Michael, but if I were a little younger, maybe I wouldn't be. I could see myself being friends with Zach. As far as who I, like, see myself in, I think if I'm being generous to myself, I would say Zach or Michael, and I think if I'm being a little more critical or honest with myself, there's a little bit of Mike there. I'm not gonna pretend there isn't.
Yeah.
I would have been very smug about knowing my presidents, I can tell you that.
Oh
much.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would have done so well at that challenge. I had a ruler in I guess the early 2000s that had all the presidents in order on them, and it was very cool.
Jake, do you remember in third grade, because we went to the same elementary school, we weren't in the same class, but in third grade, all of the third grade classes did these like math runs that were like, it was like a competitive thing. So each classroom had two teams, was divided into two teams, and you would go up against other, either the other team from your class or teams from the other classrooms. And the team that I was on basically whipped everyone's asses, and I was very, very competitive about it.
Of course.
So,
yes.
Yeah. There was a not famous, but an infamous incident where one of the better players on the opposing team deliberately cut other people in line so that they wouldn't be going up against me and they would be going up against weaker players because they knew I would beat them. And so they beat us. We were undefeated. They beat us this one time, and they had that victory struck from the record because people pointed out that they were deliberately trying to affect the matchups as opposed to having them be like random or whatever. So, I don't know why I remember this as vividly as I do. Probably because I was very invested in it because I really wanted to win, and I was like, I'm good at math. I'm gonna crush everyone.
Didn't you also win Geography B at some point?
I won the Geography B in 6th grade because I knew what ocean the Tigris and Euphrates rivers drain into. It's the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. That would have been like, where's Lansing?
I think I didn't totally know where they were, but I I made a good guess. I inferred where it would be.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think I ever won any awards. Well, no, that's not true. I won Messiest Locker in 8th grade, and you and I both won.
Yeah, we won the Best Friends
Friends.
Award in the senior...
senior superlative.
They were called the Academy Awards, right? I believe that's what they were called.
Of course they were. God.
Jake, I also won Most Likely to Run for Office, which I understand why people gave that to me. It is very funny in retrospect.
Yeah. You were a lot like your friend Zach then, because he's also running for office. He makes his speech and at one point says to Taylor, "You've admitted you've been lazy." And she just says, "Right." Admitting to your faults isn't going to win anybody over, Taylor. In Taylor's speech, she asks for a second chance, which seems like that happens every episode.
I really appreciate that Taylor, as like a 9-year-old, is she 9 or 10?
Thomas, I don't pay attention to these children.
Whatever. She's 9 or 10 years old, but even as as like a younger child, has all of the Republican politician shit down, where she's basically like, I'm not actually going to change any of my behavior, or like maybe you say like, maybe I'll do something, but then you're like, I got a stranglehold on this, even though there's like, I've rigged this so that like the other four girls will vote for me, so it doesn't matter how terrible I am.
Deal with it, as she likes to say.
Yeah, she's gerrymandered her district so that she'll win forever.
It is fucked up how spot on this show actually was at highlighting the issues with the system of politics in this country.
Jake, I can't wait to get to maybe my favorite talking head of any that they've had in the entire show.
Okay, you'll cut me off when it comes up, because I do not know which one you're talking about, but I'm excited to hear.
I think you'll know.
Okay.
I'll bring it up if you don't mention it.
Okay. It is time for the showdown. There's a bunch of piñatas with the presidents inside, and they have to find the presidents and put them in chronological order. Great. This was a great challenge.
It was a great challenge, and I would have been really good at it, I'm just saying. I liked the thing with Anjay, where he was like, I can get these, like, I have a good memory, like, I know this stuff, but they have to actually get me the presidents, and they just could not get him the cards. They eventually were able to do it, at the very end, so everybody got the stuff, but...
Yes, the yellow became the upper class once again, which, yes, I know, well, annoying. It's probably the best place for them, so fine.
It's because green got the order wrong on their first try, right?
Yes, they got it wrong on the first try, so they became the merchant class, which they were very excited about, because it means they weren't...
Yeah, they're not sucking
laborers.
Ass in challenges every time, which is great.
The red is the cooks, and the blue becomes the laborers, but they finish in time to choose between a bunch of meat...
About time.
And...
About time blue's been taken down a peg. They've been upper class or merchants, I think, every other time.
So they get to choose between meat and toothbrushes and toothpaste. Which would you pick as if you were a town council
like a big
member?
barbecue?
Yeah, whole party.
I think I would have been pretty miserable not being able to brush my teeth normally. But also I would have been very tempted by like the hot dogs and hamburgers or whatever. But I think ultimately I probably would have gone with the toothbrushes.
You have to. You have
mouthwash.
to. It's not a microwave. It actually has a purpose.
Yep. Yeah, it's something you're going to use every day, and everyone is going to use it.
Every episode there is like a point that Taylor makes, and I'm like, you are right though. Like I don't like how you're like.
Taylor
leading,
is right sometimes, but she's a terrible leader.
Like she was like, we can eat meat anytime, and somebody's like, where are we going to get meat? And she's just like, kill a chicken.
Yeah,
that's
we
just
can
the
kill a
logical
chicken.
reasoning. That girl who didn't want to kill the chickens left, didn't she?
She did, I think.
So why aren't they killing the chickens? Greg killed a chicken. He
did.
When the girl was still there. So what is the issue? I don't understand why these people are upset. Oh, they're children. Right. Okay.
I mean, there's a big difference between, like, killing one chicken, which is probably not even enough to feed everybody there, versus, like, having a big, like, barbecue, basically. So, like, I think one of these times they should pick the short-term one, like, just for a morale boost. But, like, in this case, if it had been something like the microwave, like, you absolutely take the barbecue or whatever. But in this case, like, yeah, it's something you actually would use a lot. So
have they ever picked the short-term reward?
No, they haven't.
Well, we got a new crew up in the tribal council. Jesus Christ. This is the only Survivor podcast. Town council, that's what it's called. Okay. Was this the talking head you were talking about? Kelsey says, look at George W. Bush. He's not smart at all, but he won the presidency 2 times in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was talking about.
Everybody campaigns for themselves back in town. At one point, Mike says in a talking head, there's a chance I could get voted off, but for the most part, I'm feeling pretty confident.
I knew he was gone after that.
We all know what it means when somebody says they're feeling confident. Taylor's tagline is "Deal with it." I get it. Like, lean in. You know, if somebody's accusing you like of being a certain way and you want to win an election, lean into it, I guess. But I don't know. She had a real uphill battle, I think, to win this one. Markel. Have we seen anything from Markel up to this point?
No, but I did appreciate that Markel did some direct action, fucked up her signs.
He ripped down all of her posters and then goes around on a pogo stick yelling for everyone to vote her out.
Yeah, and she comes out with crocodile tears, but I'm not buying that shit.
No. One of the younger kids named Layla gets really upset that they don't like her friend, Taylor. And then Greg goes and comforts her like a little sister. That's nice. Greg is good now.
That is nice. But also, Layla, Taylor's using you. Although I guess you get to sleep in or whatever and not do work. But
yeah,
she's passing that work on to other people so that you'll vote for her.
She's Layla's being manipulative. Deal? Why did they pick 40 kids? Jonathan Karsh, please come on the podcast. Why did you pick 40 kids? That's too many kids to keep track of. Do 20. Do 20 kids.
Yeah, I do feel like there is, especially, with the younger kids, there's just less, for them to do or, less material. Mm-hmm. It's, I think that they probably, I understand, like, from the district perspective, but they could have done, like, 3 districts and maybe had, like, 8, many. And had, like, 8 kids per district.
Yeah, like an old season of The Challenge. Then there's a town council meeting.
Because nobody's getting voted off either. It's not like it gradually gets whittled down. Like, it's the same number. Unless a kid leaves, it's the same number for the whole show.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest mistake in this show. At the town council...
Yeah, lack of focus.
At the town council meeting, Taylor thinks that Greg deserves the gold star, but Mike is still feuding with him. This
I think was the final nail in the coffin for me, where it's like, just get over it, dude. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, you need to get over it.
And you said you would be his best friend. Wow. You know my best friend
I didn't say that. I said that I think I see part of me in him if I'm being less charitable to myself.
I would have been friends with Greg because he's a good dude.
Would you? I don't know if I would have been friends with Greg. Maybe.
I would have been friends with Greg in the way that, like, you're friends with your parents' kids.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I like hanging out with this dude when my parents are hanging out, but now we're adults, so I'm probably not going to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Laurel recommends Zach gets the gold star, and then they have their town meeting. And guess what? Greg finally wins his gold star. Great stuff. We love it. It was sad when he was like, now I can finally go to college.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like, this is what you were, like, it would be a bummer if he hadn't gotten one because Mike was like, we're rivals.
Yeah, I don't understand what Greg ever did to Mike.
I mean, they, like, I don't know. I think he, like, lightly bullied him at the beginning of the show, but, like, he hasn't done it for a while. Like, it's fine.
It's fucking toxic masculinity.
I don't know. These are children. These are children also. You gotta,
Yeah.
We're dealing with a different maturity level.
Mike seems threatened by Greg because I think he knows that Greg is stronger and more likable than him, but I don't think he has the words to express that because he's a child.
Yeah, I do think that this is in many ways a projection of his insecurities.
Yeah, projection's really fun. Don't listen to me. They vote. Do you know how much I miss voting? This was so exciting.
Yeah, It was so, yeah, just to have anyone vote on anything.
Jonathan Karsh reads the blue votes first. Olivia receives 3 votes, but Anjay gets the rest and remains on the council. Here's another pet peeve of mine with the Kid Nation. Figure out how to pronounce Anjay's name. So many people are calling him Anjay, and then other people are calling him Anjay. Anjay seems right.
It's definitely Anjay. Anjay is how Mick Jagger pronounces the name Angie in the song Angie.
Oh, do you think that's what he was named after?
Yes.
Jonathan Karsh then reads the red votes. Mike got 1 vote, whereas Guylan got every other single vote.
Dude, this was like, man. This is what you get for being confident. It was a landslide. This was like Nixon in 72. He just absolutely creamed him.
Gross. Somebody from the red district yells power to the people. They were not on screen when they said it, though, but that's good. Guylan?
Yes, unlike Nixon in 72, this was power to the people.
Guylan is a guy for the land.
I'm not just Guyland, I'm the guy for this land.
Somebody says power to the people. Then Jonathan Karsh reads the yellow district votes.
I thought for sure, because I'm so used to Survivor editing, that they were going to pull the rug out from under us, because the whole narrative of the episode was leading up to Zach unseating Taylor, and I was like, they're gonna pull a fast one on us, and Taylor is gonna win, because she's got all the girls down. And thankfully, that wasn't the case.
She got 4 votes, whereas Zach got 5, and man, did Jonathan Karsh milk it. I'm glad he did.
Classic.
I loved it.
This was like a Survivor vote, right down to Zach managing to flip someone from an opposing alliance. Like, this was classic Survivor gamesmanship.
Yeah, absolutely. My issue with this voting is, like, I don't know everybody who voted for Taylor. I don't know everybody who voted for Zach, because there's 9 people on their district.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of the girls that are in, like, Taylor so dominates all of the yellow team stuff that, like, the girls that were part of her, like, crew or whatever, like, you never really see anything about them. Like, I don't know anything about the girl that flipped, other than that she flipped. Good for her.
Yeah, I'm looking up the okay, they haven't swapped district yet, have they?
No.
Okay. Here's everybody on the yellow district. Brett. I don't know anything about Brett. I've never even seen that name on my screen. Colton, who I think we saw...
He left?
No, that was Cody.
Oh, Cody left, okay.
Colton was his friend, I think?
Okay.
Kelsey, who had the really good line about Bush. Layla. There's somebody...
She was the one that was sad about the posters getting ripped down.
So she definitely voted for Taylor.
Yes, she did. Her and Kelsey did.
Pharaoh? Did you know there's somebody named Pharaoh in the yellow district?
I didn't know that.
There's somebody named Randy with an I, who apparently turns 12 somewhere between episode 5 and 9. That's what Wikipedia is telling me. Then there's... Who is Randy? Do you remember Randy?
I don't know. Was Randy the girl? Because it is Randy with an I. Was Randy maybe the girl that flipped?
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't give me the voting on... There's no voting, like, area for them. That's what the show's missing. Then there's Sophie, who I'm sure we've seen before. Oh, yeah, Sophie is Olivia's sister, right?
Yes, I believe so.
And Olivia's blue, I want to say?
Yes.
Yeah, because she ran against Anjay, that's right. And then Taylor, of course. And what episode are we on? 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor is 10 years old at this point. Okay.
Okay.
And then finally Zach. So, okay. Brett, Colton, Zach, all voted for Zach, obviously. Pharaoh and Randy also voted for Zach, I'm guessing?
Could be.
Layla, Kelsey? Do you think Kelsey voted for Taylor?
Yes, she did.
They're friends?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I just found out that the gold stars worth $50,000 are equivalent to $62,000 in 2019. Why do we need to know that
20?
information?
I thought they were worth 20,000. They're worth 50?
Oh, wait, let me check this. I think it's like the final gold star is worth 50.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's good. Zach is the new leader of the Yellow District, and he puts his fist in the air and yells Viva Revolution, which, again, is English for
Great.
Viva la Revolución.
That's something I would have done, too. I think Zach is probably the most similar to me at that age.
Oh, you want to be Zach now that he's a cool guy.
Because he's a cool guy and he's a leader, like me.
Yeah. I don't know, Thomas. You've always struck me as more of a follower.
I mean, you're not wrong, but... I think in, like, classroom settings, more of a leader.
Yeah.
At work, like, whatever, I don't care.
In class, I never did anything, and my teachers didn't like me for it. But guess what? Joke's on you. You're still in school, and I'm not.
Yeah, and Jake escaped.
Yeah. So voting was great. We loved the voting. I missed the voting. If you want to see some more voting, I would recommend this Tumblr called Survivor Wild West.
Go to your polling place on November 3rd.
Pokemon, go to your polling place early because it's going to be illegal.
Or you can fill out your ballot. But either way, if you want to see people voting, you could even just hang out by the polling place.
Yeah, just watch it.
Going in and voting.
It's called
go up to
watching.
somebody while they're voting. Go over to the they have the dividers where you're not supposed to be able to see anything, and you go in there and you just ask them about who they're voting for.
Yeah, why are you voting for this person? You seem to like
it's
them a lot.
It's not illegal. If they tell you that you're doing voter intimidation, just say that you're curious.
I'm only
they can't
asking
arrest
questions.
You for it. Say that you are a sovereign citizen. Ask if you're being detained.
Voting is good. Survivor Wild West is a Survivor season that's real and it's good, and there's voting in it. And this most recent episode that I posted, both tribes go to tribal council, and 2 people go to a Wild West exile. So it's pretty good stuff. Thomas, what's your Twitter? Or do you have a Survivor fanfic that you wrote, like the Survivor on the moon or anything?
My Survivor fanfic would just be, what if all of the contestants were
Okay.
How would they all interact together?
That would be stupid.
It would be called Survivor Dirtiest of Jobs.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, you can follow me at TomNotTom.
You can follow me at Jake Shadell or the show at DYWSLN on Twitter, or the Only Survivor podcast on Instagram.
Yes. Send us an Instantgram.
Please. And then somebody else send us a chocolate, and somebody else send us a marshmallow. Oh man, Thomas, when we went camping, we played Truth or Dare, which because we're children.
Yeah, what? Okay.
And our friend Amanda dared me to catch 3 Cheez-Its in my mouth, and then dared our other friend Janine to roast and eat 4 marshmallows at once. So it was a pretty fun camping trip.
Things got pretty crazy, it sounds like.
It was a wild time up in northern Michigan. Okay. This week, next week, I guess, we're watching episode 6 of Kid Nation, which is called Bonanza is Disgusting. What's your initial reaction to that title?
Who is disgusting?
Bonanza.
Oh, Bonanza is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, probably because it's populated by only children. Children don't wipe their ass.
Yeah, it's populated by only children. They don't have any siblings.
What's the review for Apple Podcasts, Thomas?
The review is, as always, this is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all of the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
Beautiful. Love it.
5 stars only.
5 stars only. I feel like that goes without saying because it's very obvious.
Yeah, if you like it better than all of the other podcasts and you give it 4 stars, maybe you just don't like podcasts that much, but why are you leaving a review?
Yeah, stupid. All right. Anyway, well, it's still 2020, so have a great quarantine.
Deuces.
Last day of the rest of my life, I wish I would've known 'cause I didn't kiss my mama goodbye. I didn't tell her that I loved her, how much I cared. I thank my pops for all the talks and all the wisdom he shared. Unaware, I just did what I always do. Every day the same routine before I skate off to school. But who knew that this day wasn't like the rest? Instead of taking the test, I took 2 to the chest. Call me blind, but I didn't see it coming. Everybody was running, but I couldn't hear nothing except gun blast. It happened so fast, I didn't really know this kid, the white environment in class. Maybe this kid was reaching out for love, or maybe for a moment he forgot who he was, or maybe this kid just wanted to be hugged. Whatever it was, I know it's because we are the youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. We are the youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. Little Susie, she was only 12. She was given the world with every chance to excel. Hang with the boys and hear the stories they tell. She might act kinda proud but no respect for herself. She finds love in all the wrong places. The same situations, just different faces. Changed up her pace since her daddy left her. Too bad he never told her she deserved much better. Johnny boy always played the fool. He broke all the rules so you would think he was cool. He was never really one of the guys. No matter how hard he tried, up the thought of suicide. It's kind of hard when you ain't got no friends. He put his life to an end, they might remember him then. You cross the line and there's no turning back. Told the world how he felt with the sound of a gat. We are the youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. We are the youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. Who's to blame for the life the tragedies claim? No matter what you say, it don't take away the pain that I feel inside. I'm tired of all the lies, don't nobody know why. It's the blind leading the blind. Guess that's the way that the story goes. Will it ever make sense? Somebody's gotta know. There's gotta be more to life than this. There's gotta be more to everything I thought exists.
We are the youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. We are youth of
Kid.
nation. We are
Youth of
Kid.
nation.
Kid. 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 Kid.
Hooray! We did it!